What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sports Lovers, where we talk all things sports. I'm your host on the channel, Grant Sullivan, and today we have some NFL Week Number 2 reactions to react to this week. There's a lot of games we got to talk about, and it's going to be kind of a quick video, but I wanted to get these done because there were some exciting games this week that we got to talk about. But first, if you guys are new to the channel, obviously be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn that bell on. We do our best to post on this channel every single day. With that being said, let's go ahead, hop right into some NFL Week 2 reactions. I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a long one. Alright, so the first game and the Thursday night game of the week, the Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. This one came down to the wire a little bit towards the end of the game, kind of like what the games last night. We'll talk about those coming up. But Kirk Cousins did not have that bad of a day. He threw for 4 touchdowns. He got hit like every play for the most part. Jalen Hurts, 6 of 23, 193 yards, a touchdown and interception. Obviously, the Eagles' defense was really what won the day for them, getting 1 interception, or 3 interceptions, I believe, something like that. But overall, if you look on the defensive side as well, they got to the quarterback a few times with Jordan Davis. Jalen Carter got in there as well. He had 2 tackles and then the 1 interception on the defense as well. So, there you go. Obviously, that's my reaction to the Vikings and Eagles. Kind of a little bit of a close matchup, if you ask me. Moving on, you got the Ravens and the Bengals, a battle of 2 highly paid quarterbacks this past offseason. Lamar Jackson proving us why he should be the highest paid quarterback in the league, I guess you would say, at this game. He was 24 of 33 for 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe Burrow also threw for 2 touchdowns, had 1 interception. In that game, Joe Mixon, 59 yards, as well as Gus Edwards on the ground, had 1 rushing touchdown too. So, obviously, Zay Flowers still got in there a little bit with the running game and the passing game. He was the one who obviously gave them a couple of touchdowns as well. Nelson Aguilar scored a touchdown. Mark Andrews catching a touchdown on the Ravens side of the ball. Now, the Bengals, Joe Burrow struggled. 27 of 41, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Obviously, that's not that great if you're a Joe Burrow guy. Obviously, T. Higgins was the one who caught those 2 touchdowns. Obviously, Jamar Chase did not look that great. But overall, a very, very exciting game. Moving on to the next overtime game is the Seahawks and the Detroit Lions. This one, I didn't watch any of it, obviously, but we'll go ahead and touch on it a little bit. Geno Smith looks pretty good. 32 of 41, 328 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jared Goff threw 1 interception, 3 touchdowns as well. I really think the Lions should have won that game if you're asking me, but obviously they didn't, and the Seahawks get the win in overtime. Moving on, we'll touch on 2 games really quickly here. The Colts and the Texans. I just want to hit on one thing with this game. Anthony Richardson's going down is a huge blow to the Colts, rather. Obviously, we know that Jonathan Taylor is not participating in anything. He's still on the PUP, and I think Anthony Richardson would have been their, I guess you would say, savior or something like that. But C.J. Stroud did not look terrible in that game. Now, the next game that we'll talk about 3 games right here as well. The next game that I want to talk about is the Bucs and the Bears. That game was pretty boring, if you ask me. Justin Fields is not looking great. I honestly think that Chicago made a mistake with trading that number 1 pick, but hopefully Fields can get it together. The Bucs, on the other hand, looking very, very solid. And then the last game that I want to talk about, the Chiefs and the Jaguars. Obviously, it was a boring game as well. There was only 1 touchdown scored, but obviously, Chiefs get the win on the road in Jacksonville. Much needed win for the Chiefs. Now, moving on to a game that I do want to talk about, and that is the Falcons and the Packers. Now, I want to mention one thing. Desmond Ridder sucks, in my opinion. He is not that good. Yes, he got the job done, but he struggled a lot this week. And obviously, those 2 interceptions did not help him either. So, Jordan Love struggled as well, and I think that's what helped the Falcons. And that also being a home game for the Falcons helped as well. But Desmond Ridder needs to step it up if he wants this offense to obviously incline like they're supposed to, project it to. But overall, Falcons get the win, move on to 2-0. Much needed for the Falcons. Now, moving on, we'll hit 4 games right here because this is going to be short. Bills Raiders, nice bounce back from the Raiders as well. If you're asking me, that's what you got to see every week from Josh Allen going forward, especially after that loss to the Jets a couple weeks ago. And then the Titans and the Chargers, and I want to touch on this because I'm emphasizing this now, and I emphasized it last week, but as long as Brandon Staley is your head coach, you aren't going to be going very far. So there's that right there. And then the Rams 49ers, that was an amazing game to watch. It was close all the way through. I tried watching it, just couldn't find it anywhere. It wasn't on Red Zone either. But 49ers get the win and obviously improve to 2-0, which is much needed for the 49ers. Now, moving on to the Giants and the Cardinals game. Obviously, Giants took the win, but it was a struggle for the Giants in the first half. They absolutely struggled. And if you can't beat the Cardinals, you're not going to be one of the top contenders in the NFL. We're just putting it out there right now. So, Giants obviously get the win, but it was close, and Giants need to work on some things. Now, Cowboys and Jets, that was a blowout. I'm not really going to talk about that because obviously I know I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'll rant on about some things that we need to work on. So obviously, good win for us. Great defense too. But the one that I do want to talk about, Commanders and Broncos, that was a great game. Russ almost had that, or almost did it. If the guy would have held on to the ball, he would have gotten it, but he didn't. So obviously, Russ gets the win. Or the Commanders move on to 2-0. Sam Howell is impressing a lot of guys. Commanders 2-0 to start the year. The NFC East looks again to be very, very competitive this year as well last year. Now, Dolphins, Patriots, for the most part, this was a blowout. But I want to touch on what happened at the end because I know that Jalen Waddle went down with that injury. And obviously, I think he's going to be out for next week too, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to talk about what happened at that end because Jalen Waddle got hurt, and obviously that's a huge blow to the Dolphins. He's a massive part of the receiving core, so that's a huge blow for them. That's why it got so close towards the end, but Dolphins indeed did prevail. So those are my Sunday game reactions. Now let's talk about the Monday games. All right, so the two games on Monday night, and we'll touch on both of these just for a little bit here because I've got to get going again. Panthers and Saints. Bryce Young showed signs of life as well towards the end of the game. He had that 2-minute drive where the Saints let him do the short completions. If he took those earlier in the game, we would have had a better chance. But there were some checkdowns that he missed. He could have hit Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard, obviously, if that he was paying attention and not looking downfield. But overall, for Bryce Young, it's a learning experience. Give him time. He'll be really, really good. Now, on the other hand, the Steelers and the Browns, that was an incredible game to watch. Obviously, look what happened. It was insane. Great defensive performance from the Steelers. 3 takeaways, I believe, in this game. The fumble on the first play and then 2 interceptions as well. A pick 6, by the way. So, Steelers defense won the day for that game as well. Deshaun Watson struggled. I believe he got sacked 6 times as well. So TJ Watt and the Steelers pass rush is really, really solid this year. Expect them to be a force in the NFC North in the AFC North and the AFC. But other than that, that's all I got for my NFL Week number 2 reactions. Alright, that is going to be all for my NFL Week number 2 reactions. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, turn that bell on. We do our best to post on this channel every single day. With that being said, I'm going to hop off, get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. I've got things to do. I got to go back. Obviously, there's that right there. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.